There we go. Good evening and welcome to the South County Fire Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for December 2, 2025. I'll call us to order and ask everybody here to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, board members, you have in front of you the draft agenda, and I don't believe we have anything else for the draft agenda. Chief, anything else? No, we're good. Okay. Anything else for the draft agenda? If not, I'll move the adoption of the agenda as presented. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Teofilak. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That takes us to item 4, which is the consent agenda. 4A is the November 18, 2025 claims vouchers totaling $13,067.63 and the December 2, 2025 claims voucher totaling $995,076.93. I'll move the adoption of those items in the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Fernhoff. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward in the agenda to approval of the meeting minutes. Item number 5. We have 5A, which is the November 12, 2025 work session meeting minutes. And sorry, Ms. Blankenship, is that also the November 18, 2025 regular? Sorry, so we have both November 12, 2025 work session and November 18, 2025 regular meeting. So I'll move the adoption of those two sets of meeting minutes. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Chan. It's been moved and seconded to approve those sets of meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Yes, Commissioner Chan, you have the second. Did you have any discussion on the motion regarding the meeting minutes? No? Okay. We'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Aye.
Very good. That will move us forward in the agenda then to item number 6, which is our promotion ceremony. And this is going to recognize the promotion of Deputy Chief Tom Keene and Assistant Chief John Chalfant. And I'll turn this over to Chief Eastman. Good evening.
As the fire chief, there's a handful of things that are probably the best part of the job. One of them is hiring brand new firefighters into the fire service career. The other is to be able to promote through all ranks of the organization. And tonight is special for me. I've known Tom since he's been employed, and Chief Chalfant and I actually were in the same recruit academy. So for me, and this, if you guys don't know, this will probably be my last promotional ceremony as the fire chief. So this one is special in different ways. So Tom, if you would do me a favor and raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Tom Keene,
Do hereby declare
do hereby declare
that my fundamental duty is to serve the people of South County Fire.
that my fundamental duty is to serve the people of South County Fire.
I swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life,
Swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life,
health, and property against fire and other perils,
health, property against other perils,
and to maintain a proficiency in the fire service.
and to maintain a proficiency in the fire service.
As a chief officer,
As a chief officer,
I will uphold the standards of my profession and position,
I will uphold the standards of my profession and position,
serve the people and members of the Regional Fire Authority,
serve the people and the members of the Regional Fire Authority,
and will share my knowledge and skills
and will share my knowledge and skills
with my colleagues and firefighters I'm assigned to lead.
with my colleagues and firefighters that I'm assigned to lead.
As a member of senior leadership,
As a member of senior leadership,
I will continue to support the organizational mission.
I will continue to support the organizational mission.
I will lead the organization to the best of my ability with fairness and no prejudice.
I will lead the organization to the best of my ability with fairness and no prejudice.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of the Regional Fire Authority,
as a symbol of the Regional Fire Authority,
public faith and trust,
public faith and trust,
and I accept so long as I'm true to the ethics of the fire service.
and I accept it so long as I'm true to the ethics of the fire service.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
my
sir.
friend.
Appreciate it.
And we'll talk about you being out of uniform tomorrow.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief Tom Keen.
Come on up, John. I'll do this right this time because then
I'll just have this.
everybody's entitled. Again, for you that, I said this before, I've had the privilege to know John from the first time I stepped foot in this organization, and we went through the academy together, and Chief Maxwell was part of that group. And I just want to say I'm proud of where you are and where you've become, and it is my sincere privilege to swear you in tonight. So if you do me a favor, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, John Chalfont,
Do you hereby declare that my fundamental duty
do hereby declare that my fundamental duty
is to serve the people of Snohomish of the South County Fire Community?
is to serve the people of South County Fire Community.
I swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life,
Swear to protect, safeguard, and preserve life,
health, and property against fire and other perils,
health and property against fire and other perils,
and to maintain a proficiency in the fire service.
and to maintain a proficiency in the fire service.
As a chief officer,
As Chief Officer,
I will uphold the standards of my profession and position,
I will uphold the standards of my profession and position,
serve the people and members of the Regional Fire Authority,
serve the people and members of the Regional Fire Authority,
and will share my knowledge and skills with my colleagues and firefighters I am assigned to lead.
and will share my knowledge and skills with my colleagues and firefighters I am assigned to lead.
As a member of the executive leadership,
As a member of the executive leadership,
I will continue to support the organizational mission,
I will continue to support the organizational mission,
and I will lead the organization to the best of my ability with fairness and no prejudice.
and I will lead the organization to the best of my ability with fairness, no prejudice.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of the Regional Fire Authority,
as a symbol of the Regional Fire Authority,
public faith and trust,
public faith and trust,
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics of the fire service.
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics of the fire service.
Congratulations. You gonna get pinned by your lips?
So dramatic. Should have practiced this.
Thank you.
And Chief, did we want to take a few minute break
Yeah,
now
good.
for a little coffee and cookies to recognize the new start up after our recess, after our brief recess for the promotion ceremony. After the promotion ceremony, we will come back to our agenda, restart the meeting with item number 7, which is public comment. So I'll start first in the room and ask if there's any request for public comment here in the room. Then I'll go to our Zoom platform and check there. Any request for public comment here in the room? Any request for public comment here in the room? Not seeing any request for public comment. Let me move over to our Zoom platform with Ms. Blankenship. If you could let me know, is there anybody online requesting to public comment addressing the board?
There's no one.
Ms. Blankenship, thank you. I'll come back one last time to the room and ask any request for public comment in the room. Not seeing any request for public comment. Thank you. I will move forward in the agenda then to item number 8, which is the Fire Chief's Report, and re-welcome Chief Eastman. Good evening.
Thank you, Chair Kenny, board liaison, staff, and the public. Real brief chief's report tonight. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving holiday week. I know most of the staff did, at least the staff I was able to talk to. The one thing I just want to remind folks is Friday night is the tree lighting for the city of Montlick Terrace. Saturday night's the tree lighting for Briar, and then the Mill Creek Parade on Saturday mid-morning. And just a reminder of those, if you haven't been to one of the tree lightings, they are actually both Terrace and Briar tree lightings are pretty fun events to be at. I've not been at the Mill Creek Parade during the holiday, but I can tell you the other parades in the city of Mill Creek are events that are worth going to. So if the board, just a reminder, if you're available, those three events are happening. And we had a great turnout. Was it Monday night? Last night at Station 13, we're about 250 people. Thanks, Commissioner Farinoff, for being there. So with that, I'll take any questions, but that's my chief's report for tonight, Commissioner Kenny.
Any questions for Chief Eastman on the Chief's report? Any questions for the chief? Seeing none, thank you, Chief. That moves us forward on the agenda then to item number 9, which is our legal report. We have our General Counsel, Richard Davis, with us tonight on Zoom, and we have a little slightly longer report this year, kind of a recap of 2025. I'll turn it over to Mr. Davis. Good evening.
All right, good evening. Thank you. Good evening, commissioners and liaisons. I have a very short PowerPoint, and so let me share my screen here. Okay. Beginning. Okay, can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so Chair Kenny asked me to prepare just a summary of what we did this year. Did this last year is just kind of a short recap. So I'll start out by just saying this is year 25 of our firm's representation of South County Fire and its predecessor, Snohomish County Fire District 1. It doesn't seem nearly that long. It's been a privilege to represent both South County Fire and previously Snohomish County Fire District 1. It's just been an honor. So can't believe that much time has passed, but here we are. So for those of you who may not know, we are a firm of 16 lawyers, and we'll have another lawyer who's currently practicing in New Mexico for the federal government, who's moving up and joining us in March of next year. So a municipal law attorney. So we'll have 17 then. All of us practice municipal law in our firm, but we all have different specialty areas on top of that. And I wanted to just show you the attorneys who have provided services this year to South County Fire, maybe more than usual, simply because I was gone for about a month during a sabbatical in the middle of the summer. But you have on the top line there the three people that you probably are most familiar with: myself, Matt Paxton, Aaron Hayes. We are all in the fire EMS practice group in our firm. We segregate our firm into practice areas. And Aaron does some litigation in addition to fire EMS, the labor and employment, and general municipal that both Matt and I also do. We also have Brian Snur, who is of counsel to the firm. I didn't list him because he hasn't provided any services this year. On the right-hand side, Tim Schermetzler is our land use lawyer, real estate. He has done some of the SEPA work for South County Fire. If impact fees, mitigation fees ever come up in my practice, I turn that over to Tim to handle. Holly Stafford is our environmental lawyer, and she's been working on some environmental issues with the property that South County Fire is interested in purchasing. Shane Brady is a new hire, used to work at the city attorney's office for the city of Bellingham, and he'll be doing some litigation for us, and has been involved just most recently within the last month. Allison Beard, who's been on maternity leave for part of the year, does public records requests in addition, of course, to general municipal law. So just to give you a refresher on how we work internally, this is how the sausage is made, so to speak. We have all of these attorneys who have provided services to South County Fire, but I stay in the loop on all of those, even if I'm not the one directly performing the work. So I'm copied on emails just so I know what's going on and can respond if a question ever comes to me. When we are contacted, and we do get contacted by various staff members, we ensure that they have the authority to give us a call and to engage our firm for legal services. Our preference is to provide advice in writing whenever possible. I know that does come in handy because it can be referred back to. Melissa, in particular, is very good about holding on to those written pieces of advice that we give, and she can often pull those out even when I've long forgotten about them. So I know that that is helpful to have that in advice and helps us to be clear in the advice we give. We obviously have backup systems in place. I'm out of the office from time to time or unavailable, and we have other people who can fill in for me when that happens. So I wanted to give you an overview of the legal costs for this year, and I've broken this out into really two categories: general legal services, and then I have a line item for Edmunds issues. General legal services, and I'll explain why we do that in a minute. General legal services were about $137,000 this year. We spent 385 hours, which if you divide it equally, it's not an equal amount per month, but it's on average about 32 hours a month. For Edmunds issues that are not annexation related, that has been a total of $23,000 for the year. And the reason I broke that out into a separate line item is because we will, as you've seen our bills, you've noticed that we just have one bill. It's a general matter. We're capable of dividing our bills up into various components. Some of our municipal clients, for instance, want to have a bill for, the airport division, facilities, and so on. And we're always happy to do that if requested. But in absent some need by the client, we just put all our charges into a general bill. On the other hand, when there is an opportunity or potential opportunity to recover our attorney's fees due to litigation, for instance, then we track that separately. And so we have tracked the Edmunds issues that are not related to the annexation of Edmunds into the RFA. We've tracked that separately this year. So I wanted to give you I broke this out into a few different categories just to give you some examples. There's way too many things to go over each one that we've done, but throughout the year, we will get some, I will call them projects because they're larger in nature, and they may require some research and some more time than we would ordinarily spend on just answering a simple question. One of those was the potential revisions to the RCW involving the RFAs being able to perform fire code official duties in place of the county. That was kind of at the beginning of the year. We did some work on that. We, of course, worked on the Edmunds annexation and all of the components that are attendant to that. And then the city of Linwood had a tax increment financing area adopted this year, and we worked through that with staff, the legal issues and effect on South County Fire. And then continuing to deal with, as I mentioned before, Holly Stafford in our office has worked on the environmental liability issues associated with a potential property purchase that South County Fire is considering. We've had some issues regarding Edmunds that are, as I said, unrelated to the annexation. There was the question about whether the contract payment under the ILA that was in existence prior to the annexation effective date, whether that payment continued until the end of the year. And then there's also been this issue of transport fees and GMT monies that the city believes it is owed. There have been, throughout the year, a number of specific issues that were more than just a quick answer to a question, but involved some research and where we would have issued memos, for instance. A question came up this year about a fire department's liability for damages caused by forced entry due to, needing to enter into a building forcibly because no one was there to answer the door. Title VII accommodation issues. Title VII deals with discrimination, religious accommodations. So we've worked on those issues throughout the year. There have been some First Amendment issues that have arisen, and this is kind of a frequent thing that comes up these days. Social media comments, kind of scope of public comment during public comment period for commission meetings. And then fire code enforcement, a question about when do we transfer responsibility for enforcement to the city? When are we done with that, and how do we transfer that issue off to the city? In terms of litigation, this year, our primary duties as general counsel for South County Fire involve overseeing outside counsel. There could be cases where we don't have the expertise in-house and we would request authority to hire some outside counsel. We don't do bond work, for instance. And so, bond work is done by specialized counsel. We don't oversee that work. But what we do oversee on a regular basis is work that's conducted by counsel that's appointed by our insurance carrier in order to defend South County Fire. So in those cases, we kind of monitor that work. We'll report to the board on a regular basis. We ensure that South County's interests are taken into account, particularly in regards to some strategy decisions, settlement discussions, mediations, those kinds of things. And sometimes a case will lag, and it's maybe there's a strategy involved in not moving it forward, and other times it's just that it's just not being moved forward as aggressively as we would like, and so we press for advancement of the case to get it to a resolution. Mediations, we've attended 2 mediations this year, and then we have an arbitration that's starting on a non-insurance related matter. Employment related issues come up from time to time when the need for an investigation arises, as we've had this year. We oversee that work, we manage it in order to really for 2 reasons. Number one, when we hire the investigator and have the investigator working for us, there's a privilege that applies to the materials that are produced by the investigator, and that's important for public records requests. But it's also important. I would say more important because we can't promise while the investigator, I'm sorry, can't promise anybody that he or she talks to that it will never become public. We'll try to maintain confidentiality of what is said. And what that does is it allows for more information to come forward than might otherwise come out because people do, when they're talking to an investigator, do appreciate confidentiality. We've provided advice from time to time on various employment issues that have arisen. Labor issues, although we're not South County Fire's primary labor attorneys, occasionally questions will come up, and we have provided general advice on that, including what are called information requests. And that information requests are similar to public records requests, but it's actually a right that arises under the Public Employee Collective Bargaining Act. And so some questions have come up about that from time to time. But the bread and butter of what we've done this year is just the general legal services. And that is, there are questions that arise from staff on various issues. We provide advice on those questions. Oftentimes that advice is in the form of an email, sometimes in a memorandum. I generally attend the commission meetings once a month, or if I'm not around, Matt Paxton might fill in for me. Also attend as needed for executive session. One of the things that Aaron in my office does, Aaron Haynes, is when South County Fire's personnel receive a subpoena or are requested to attend an interview or be deposed, he generally prepares those individuals so that they know what to expect. It's kind of a nerve-wracking thing for somebody who's not accustomed to this line of work to get a subpoena or be called into questioning. And so Aaron makes sure that, first of all, there's no liability that's going to arise from whatever is said at those interviews. And secondly, that the individual feels comfortable in speaking, whether it's just an informal interview or a formal deposition. Contract review and revision. So whenever South County Fire is entering into contracts, we generally see those and make revisions where we deem suitable and appropriate. Interlocal agreement drafting or revisions, that happens periodically throughout the year. And then public records requests. Those kinds of issues arise throughout the year as well. And with that, I would just say that what do I expect for kind of the coming year, 2026? Not really anything different. I would expect, based on what I know at this point, that we'll see kind of the same level of legal services. I consider South County Fire to be as I've said before, a sophisticated consumer of legal services. And part of that is that you have staff who know what they're doing and they've seen a lot of these issues before. So, we often don't give rudimentary advice. It's higher level advice to people who understand the advice that we're giving. But I would expect to see kind of the same level of in terms of hours and output for next year. And with that, I'll go ahead and pause and see if there are any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I know that Commissioner Chan has a question for Mr. Davis. Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, Rich, I really appreciate this kind of first time. Maybe I missed some in the past when you present this. I really, to me, is a really, as a commissioner, I really like to this kind of breakdown. I really like it. We commissioner really in charge of the fund for taxpayer money. So we want to make sure that we have, properly two area. Probably would love to see number one, litigations. So how much we spend on that, and how do we compare the prior year, and how do we compare, others fire district outside, and then on HR, I think that's another area that we spend a lot of money on litigation. So if there's anything we can improve our HR process, whatever, something I think could be prevented. I don't know what our commissioner is thinking, but I think those are the few area. Of course, all the general, right, the contracts and all of that is regular, that nothing we can avoid it. But also, I appreciate that when there's a new law coming in, you inform us. That to me, that's very critical, because to let a commissioner know what the new legislation coming and everything else. So that's maybe next year we can have it with the commissioner. We're suggesting some kind of reporting to us that we're aware of it.
Thank you for those comments. I would say that we do our best at giving, when there's a decision to be made and there's a spectrum of risk. We don't make the decision on how much risk is South County Fire willing to take, but we do try and say, here are the various options. Here's the level of risk attendant to each of those decisions. I will say that I think that your fees in terms of litigation and employment are not excessive. I don't think it's out of line at all. And the other thing I want to say about employment is just that it's much more uncertain than it has been in prior years, and you do see employees who tend to challenge adverse employment decisions regularly. I mean, you just see that a lot more, and that's just a change culturally, I think, in our society. And so, again, we take that into account when offering advice in those areas. And I think for the size of the organization you are, you don't have anything to worry about in terms of the amount of work that goes into those issues, from my perspective.
Yeah, bring back my old career as a auditor. The first thing we audit any company, we look at the legal expenses. You really see what's going on. A lot of issues that are at risk for a lot of organizations. We can identify that. But anyway, thank you very much for the information.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yeah, dear Rich, I don't know how to say this. I'm afraid I don't want to give you any ideas, but the amounts, that would look pretty cheap. I mean, that was like, I was surprised how low it was. We seem to see you all the time. And, wow. So
You're,
don't,
you're not
don't,
you're not giving us any ideas. The rates are fixed for another year, Commissioner
okay,
Lawrence.
good. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to compliment something and say, you did a good job and you didn't charge as much as I thought without it backfiring on me, So, thank you very much.
You're saying that.
Any other questions, comments for Mr. Davis? Great. Thank you, Mr. Davis. I appreciate the information and the report.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that moves us forward in the agenda then to item number 10, which is our union report. And I believe we have Local 1828's political director, Connor Holtum, with us. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Chiefs, commissioners, guest liaisons. Congratulations to Deputy Chief Tom Keene and Assistant Chief John Chalfant on your promotions. Good news from the union side. We've got a couple of exciting events coming up this weekend. So Friday, we will be doing some Christmas shopping for Edmund's Kids in Transition. So that involves getting Christmas lists from kids, and then members of our body go and basically pack bags for them so they have something to open during the holidays. And then on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Azul Restaurant in Mill Creek, we will be running the first of probably a few fundraisers for the Firefighter Stair Climb, which is an event that raises money for Blood Cancer United and takes place on March 7th. So that's what we got going on the union side. Thanks, everybody.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board members? Great, thank you so much. All right, that moves us forward on the agenda to item number 11, which is old business or unfinished business. And we start with 11A, which is our MOU for the Boston Paramedic Program. And this is going to be with Chief Hughes. Good evening.
Good evening, board and liaisons. Thanks for having me here tonight. This is a follow-up from a couple weeks ago when I got to participate in discussion in regards to the MOU for the firefighter EMTs going to paramedic school. And the gist of that discussion had to do with maybe the paramedic shortage and the shortage of opportunities for us to send folks to different locations for school. So tonight I'm here to hopefully answer any remaining questions that you might have, and ask for your support in authorizing the execution of this MOU.
Any questions from the board members generally about the MOU? Not seeing any generally, so I think we are probably ready to move forward with some action. So I will move that the board approve let me just get to the first page. The Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, full-time firefighter EMT attending paramedic program with IFF Local 1828, and authorize the chief to sign. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded to Commissioner Wittes seconding. Moving second to adopt the MOU. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Great. Thank you, Chief Hughes.
Thank you for your support.
And that moves us forward then to our second item in unfinished business, 11B, which is also with Chief Hughes, and that is our surfer ILA, CRP ILA for action, and that is located at page 45 of your meeting packet. Chief Hughes.
Thank you. Much like item 11A, 2 weeks ago, I was here to discuss the the ILA between South County Fire and Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue in regards to assisting them stand up a community resource paramedic program this year, including a community health worker. Tonight, I'm here to ask for your guys' support in authorizing the execution of this ILA and answer any questions.
Questions from the board members or Chief Hughes on the ILA? And before we take action, Chief Hughes, I just wanted to clarify, this is going to be, it's actually an exhibit A to the ILA, or it's the ILA itself?
I was told by legal that the exhibit was what was changing, and then the recitals section of the ILA was staying the same, and the exhibit was the change from last year's ILA.
Okay, so it's exhibit A that's revised.
Yes,
Starting 1/1/26.
yes.
Okay, all right. So I will move that the board approve and authorize the chief to sign the exhibit A to the ILA with Surfer to be effective January 1, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Fernhoff. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the ILA, authorize the chief to sign. Is there discussion on the motion? Is there discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
That moves us forward on the agenda then to item 11C of unfinished business, and this is the capital facilities plan for action. And I just want to get the page number here for everybody. This is starting at page 53 of the packet, I think, just to the 53 to the end. And so we have been talking about the capital facilities plan for many years. And we've here in the fall, we've talked in different ways about the financing through a bond. Revisited what the capital facilities plan would actually be. I talked a little bit about the relative nature of the dollar value of the bond vis-a-vis other school districts around us that are going to bond or levy in early 2026, and talked a little bit about the calendar of different types of elected events that are happening in subsequent years, things that we have to do, like renew certain levies at certain times. We have to go back to the voters at certain times, and we have some flexibility, but not complete flexibility. And thinking about all of those things together, as I commented at our last meeting, I feel like we have come to a place where we've had a lot of exposure to this information. There's been an opportunity to ask questions. We're kind of at a place, probably a better place than we have been ever before, in my opinion, to render a decision about go, no go on the capital facilities plan and go to the voters for a bond in 2026. And so before saying anything else, maybe I'll turn it over to the chief for a few minutes, some comments about capital facilities plan.
Thanks, Chair Kenny. I guess staff continues to work towards being in a position to support if the board chooses to go in the fall of 26, to be in a position to do the work. So we've been working, really over the last year to get things set up to be able to do that. We met with another bond council today just to gear up as if the board makes a decision to move forward tonight. Staff is ready to go, and from a staff's perspective, again, by the board moving forward with the action today to plan to go forward in 26, the actual resolution to put it on ballot would come later. It has to be on or before, I want to say, last Friday or the first Friday of August. So the decision to actually go to ballot will still need to be made by the board at some point in time in 2026. I know our communications director has been thinking strategically about how we do the work to inform and educate. We had I want to say almost a 4-hour meeting this afternoon in my office with executive staff, talking about, what pieces need to get put into place soon, like our team. Um, and then the final touches on, if we are going to move forward, look again at the timelines, look again at, infill fire stations require staffing. That's new employees. We had a 6-month conversation about that early this year about where to go, what to do. You're going to see that again early next year, as we continue to have that conversation and look at where we are today, what we think the future is going to hold, and adjust the timeline of those infill fire stations such that we can assure that the inflationary numbers are right. So we make sure that we're fully funding the facilities plan, and we don't want to end up short. So there's still a lot of work to be done, and more discussion points to be had as we move forward. Staff's prepared to take that on. We're already starting to do that work. I can tell you from somebody who started the process of the capital facilities plan back in 2016. We're looking at working through this process over just under 10 years. And staff's excited to, well, I'll say this, I'm excited to see us, I'm hoping, move forward. I know we're at a spot where we've identified very clearly that we need to move forward and do something with our facilities. We've identified stations over the years that are at end of life. They were built in the early 70s prior to even having real full-time staff, right? They were built different. And so, again, staff's ready for the challenge. I think we've done a lot of preliminary work. There'll be continued work that happens. I think we talked at capital facilities planning that you'd see this on at a minimum every work session agenda to give updates where we are. I see it potentially being more frequent. We talked today about the potential of maybe the spring workshop being dedicated to this effort. And some of us remember back in 2001 when we did this, things are very different. The rules are different. And there's been a lot of changes that have happened. And so as we work through and if we move forward, get our team together with experts, bond counsel, and a fiduciary that represents us and some of those pieces, to maybe have our spring workshop be dedicated for this, and not piecemeal like we have work sessions over a handful of months, and get solid footing. And by that time, hopefully staff will have done the rest of the work that we need to do to gear up to get to a place where we can, finally draft the resolution, get ready to do the other explanatory statement stuff to go along with it. So we've been thinking a lot about it. It's been on our radar. There's continued work being done, and there will be quite a bit more work if the board chooses to move forward with a motion to move forward on it for the first part of next year, to gear up for actually putting it on the ballot. So.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any general questions from board members on the issue? Commissioner Wittes.
Thank you, Chair. I had brought it up with you before about the general versus a primary, and you had a good representation of that. If you would share that on why you think it's better at the general.
Sure. I think the general is better because it allows the time frame needed for the communicating with the public this vital issue. It's going to take time. We have a lot of potential voters to reach. The scale of the plan is large, but it benefits many, I'm going to say most or all, the geographic areas of South County Fire. So there's a lot of communicating about what those needs are, and also communicating with our partners, partner cities, about what we're doing and how that might interrelate with what they're thinking of doing. And so there's just a really big lift. This type of bond passage of this kind of bond, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 60% vote margin. So it's not 50% plus one vote, it's 60% plus one vote. And so it's a significant lift. I really feel like we need the time because if we approve it now, going to the ballot in the, it'll be the first part of November on the general election, we've got about 11 months to put everything together and actually, by the time it goes to the voters. If we go in August, that's the first Tuesday of August. If you kind of discount the rest of July of December, we really only have about 6 months until that election. I just feel like the 6 months is not enough time. I also feel like I'm not dissuaded by the fact that it's the general election, and I'm happy to have more of our voters vote on it. The more, to me, the more voters, the merrier. And so the general election is when we're going to have the most number of voters out there. And so while I'm not like, I'm not opposed to the primary or I'm not opposed to a special election, I feel like at this point, like the bond presentation that we had, which was, spend a year doing it. I feel like we've got the time to do a good job and our staff a time to do a good job to put our best foot forward, shall we say, and let the voters decide in November. I think we'll be a little more cramped on our ability to, I'm not saying we couldn't, but I think we'll be a little more cramped on the timing to do that for like the primary election in early August. So, so that's my rationale for November, Commissioner Wades.
Thank you.
Are there other general comments about, Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, it is a big deal for every one of us because we never really done this huge amount before. So the question number one is, I can't believe that I'm saying that. I want to make sure administration have enough resources to do it. So do you think you might want to need some help in that area, resources wise, from administrations?
So Commissioner Chan, I think if we get the consultants that we need to do the work, and there'll be a conversation that I'll have with the board if you choose to move forward. There's a couple positions that when we adopted the budget, there's a couple new positions that I think we need sooner than later that I'd like to have a conversation with the board. One being the PIO, and then I think the finance committee talked about the potential of CFO Bothwell needing the finance person that they talked about, and so there'll be a conversation about that if the board moves forward from me to ask for at least those two new administrative positions. If we could, get authority to actually get those folks hired and in place. I think with that, Commissioner Chan, I think that provides the staff that we need. It will be an all hands on deck. It touches a lot. For example, Chief Chalfant with Chief Isotelo and the rest of the ops division, we need to solidify the order we do things. And so there's work for everybody to do. I don't think it's unsurmountable. I think it's going to be the priority of the RFA for next year. It's the big thing going to ballot. But if we we've identified 2 additional staff people that we need administratively in the budget. I would ask that if you move forward, you'll hear me ask to get those and allow me to hire them as soon as the first of the year. I can tell you we already have we did the PIO hiring and we did it so we actually know who we want to hire for the next position. So we're in a position to move quickly on that. Again, as Commissioner Kenny was talking about, get them on board. And that gives, this is going to be a really heavy list for the communications division when you talk about it touches all the communities and stuff. And we still want to continue to do all the other communications that we do. This is additional too, right? And so I think, Commissioner Chan, to your question, I think we will. I think we have, if we bring in, bond counsel, we bring in, I don't want to say this right, our fiduciary, I can't remember the full term, municipal advisor, which has fiduciary responsibility for us, bring them on board as part of our team to go through it. I think staff will be in a really good position to do what we need to do. And remember, as we go, we talked about hiring a management, a firm to help us build and do the project management and those pieces as part of the plan. That's fully funded. So I think we have all the pieces, Commissioner Chan, to do it with the caveat I talked about, the two administrative positions, both one in finance and the PIO. I think it puts us in a good position. And again, I know my staff, if we get to a place where we need some additional help, we'll ask. And there is some dollars in my budget for consultant help if needed. So we've got some of that in the budget to deal with too, if we needed some additional expertise that we don't know yet at the end. So Commissioner Chan, I hope that answers your question.
No, that I would rather we over prepare than under prepare. And second thing is I don't want you guys all stressed out. All right. But also is in 2001 versus now is total different because at that time we do not have that many partners, so to speak, the cities. I think we learned real well on the deployment, right? So a lot of time we talk about ourselves, so we need to really communicate with the rest of our partners, the council member, and also there will be a huge public, and they probably will look at that and it's oh my, I just got a tax increase, the bond, all that stuff. So we have to really, anticipate that kind of discussions with some of the coin group. So, of course, the intergovernment committee and ourselves had to be really talk to our partners all over to the people. So that's, yeah, I'm just showing support that if you need resources, let us know so we can make you successful, make us
Absolutely.
successful.
Absolutely, Chan. Commissioner Chan, thank you.
Other general questions from commissioners, board members? All right, well then I think we are ready to move forward with a motion. I move that we direct the fire chief to prepare, plan, and move toward a capital facilities bond measure for the 2026 general election in November 2026. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Teofilak. It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? I want to just comment for discussion that this is a significant motion and direction set by the board. We've been working on a capital facilities plan for I'm going to say decades, plural, but yes, Chief, like 10 years. I've been on multiple capital facilities plan committees over the years. And one of the challenges is as time goes on, then you have to update the plan and that takes time. And it's like, then you got to update all the numbers. And it's just like kind of groundhog year every like 3 years. And, but our needs keep expanding. And I kind of describe our stations as melting. And some of our stations are quite old, and it's a concern for our employees to be working in them. We've got to do something to modernize the facilities. I think that's really important. And what would be coming in this plan is the replacement of stations 13, 14, 20, 22, 23, and 76. Renovations and upgrades at stations 11, 15, 17, and 19, and new stations at 4 locations, which we call Manor, AMP, Heights, and Cascadian. So, and there are other items in there also. And there are other pieces like how do you actually fill the stations, the new stations once you build them. But the reality of the stations that we have is that over time, those buildings, like any other buildings, they depreciate, they actually crumble. We repair them, but they get older. The technology has changed. They need to be upgraded for all the electrical. We have so much more electrical and computer and high-speed internet and other types of fiber wires that are needed. And that's not going to change. And so I feel like if not now, when? And I believe the community will support this request. I've been talking about this issue of stations and a capital facilities plan and kind of ringing the bell around it for a number of years. Because I knew this day was coming eventually, where we would have to cross this divide and go to the people, because I think that's the only way we can afford to do the project. We're talking over $400 million of expense. But here's the thing, that with inflation each year, that's not getting any cheaper any year. It's like, okay, don't do it this year. Well, add 3%, add 5%, whatever your inflationary choice is, and it'll be that much more expensive next year. And then it'll be that much more expensive the year after, and the year after. And so it's not getting any cheaper. And we've got to do something about our facilities. I've been on the board since 2003. We have, since the chief, you referenced either 2000 or 2001. That was actually before my time, shockingly. So I did not vote on that bond, but I did spend some of the money related to that bond. And it's been a long time. I want to say we retired that bond in 2009, 2010. Something like that. We retired it a little bit early, and so we haven't had a bond in more than 10 years for capital needs, and so we can't do without. And kind of like the schools, we've got to do something for our facilities. The voters of South Snohomish County have been supportive of facilities for schools. We haven't gone to ask them about facilities for fire in over 20 years. But we can't go without forever. And this is really a decision for our bosses, the taxpayers, to decide, are they willing to dip into their pockets to pay for this? And it's going to be over a more than 10-year period of time. It should be a manageable amount per year, but it's not a small expense for people no matter what. But it's for a good cause. And that is fire station renovation, and for the community to provide adequate and sufficient facilities for their firefighters to provide service to them. So I think it's really important in that regard, and we've talked about it for a long time. I think it's time to take the plunge and ask the community to support us in this regard. And so I am supportive of the measure and going to the ballot in November. Commissioner Lawrence.
Oh, wait.
No, I'm done. It took a while, but I am done.
I'll wake up then.
David's got his hand up.
We'll come back to Commissioner Chan in a minute. Commissioner Lawrence, go ahead.
Yeah, I support the motion. And it was going to be a job to communicate to the people, that they understand what level of service they're getting, and that the buildings aren't just so we could have a nice building, but it impacts our level of service and the ability to attract firemen. They don't want to live in a dunge heap. So it's important that we have the proper facilities to keep up the level of service. Thank you.
Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, just a reminder, it actually started with a lot. We have used to be strategic planning. It was chaired by Commissioner Schrock. And you bring a lot of good points that I was in my notes in here. But one thing I want to really still want to continue, which is the commission matters idea, is that maybe a lot of the backfill station, we don't need to build one. We need to just renting it, lease it out. But I also agree that it is very important. We got to make it a first time successful. If somehow we're not successful, it would be really bad to come back to the second time. So it's basically we need this, and we need to do it well for this, for us to move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Chan. This is the vote essentially that green lights the process to keep moving forward. There'll be other, as the chief indicated, there'll be other things that come back to the board that would have to be approved to actually effectuate the legal pieces of making it happen. So the issue would come back to the board more, but this is kind of like the spot where the light turns green and the train starts moving down the tracks. Because of the momentous nature of the decision, I invite other board members, any other comments on the motion? Any other discussion on the motion? If not, then I think we are ready for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
On
Thank
behalf of staff, Commissioner Kenny, and me personally, thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you to your staff. We've worked for a long time to get to this point. Yeah. Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, we don't need any capital facility meetings for quite a long time now, but.
Well,
No, that's not true.
not true.
What?
Okay, Chief, do you need anything else from us at this point regarding capital facilities plan?
I do not,
More-
just
more to come.
what I talked about is there'll be, not tonight, but at the next meeting, I'll ask for to be on the agenda to talk about administrative staff needs as a result of the action we took tonight. So I expect we will have a conversation at the workshop and hopefully action at the last meeting in December for us to move forward with that to fulfill what we just talked about tonight. So look forward to having that conversation with the board next couple of weeks.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. That will move us forward then in the agenda to item number 12, which is committee updates, starting with capital facilities and Commissioner Lawrence.
Well, I think we just canceled one, right?
Oh, no, I think that bought a whole bunch more. So nothing, everybody's completely up to date on capital facilities. Next up is the Finance Committee, Commissioner Chan.
What I talked to, is CFO in there?
Yes, Mr. Bothwell is here.
So we did discuss, maybe we'll cancel for December's. Is CFO Buffalo there?
He's shaking
Yes.
his head in concurrence, Commissioner Chan.
Okay, all right.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. That takes us then to item number 3 there under 12-3 is intergovernmental with Commissioner Wittes.
We have not had a meeting.
Very good. Thank you. And then lastly, we have Snow 911 with Commissioner Fernhoff.
No meeting for December. Our next meeting is scheduled for 18th of this month, I believe. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Next up, we have moves forward in the agenda to item number 13, which is Commissioner comments. Commissioner Wittes.
Thank you, Chair. Kind of got to apologize to Melissa on this one. She brought up earlier on the new programming for reimbursement for commissioners on how the system would work. I think I heard it wrong or didn't hear it correctly. I do have a little bit of angst with it just on the idea that you can't put in the time at a certain period and kind of confusing. So I'm just not a fan of it, of changing what we have today. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Fernhoff, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations again to our promotions in the room. Well done. I've heard from the line that these selections are well made, which thank you to the senior staff for extending that. And also like to just unofficially, even though he's not sworn in, welcome Joe Winkleman, our new commissioner-elect, who's in the back of the room. So thank you very much for attending.
Other commissioner comments? Sorry? Yep.
This week.
Board Liaison
I-
Swisher, go ahead.
I won't make you wait.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd like to say something.
No, Commissioner Chan, hold on. We have Board Liaison Swisher is next and then you.
So I'm going to go back to the provision that you had added to the budget last week. And I'm going to give an example of why it ties admin's hands. And I'm going to get on my soapbox and I'm going to advocate for some what's their official titles? Deputy fire marshals? Is that okay? Two gentlemen were asked to move into prevention in April of this year, and they were told they'd be in prevention for a year. You have invested time in these people to have them learn the things about prevention that need to be learned. You also have backfilling that's going on. And, we just saw 2 people get promoted tonight. Other people are going to have to be promoted into different positions to fill in behind them. And then that will leave spots empty somewhere else that need to be filled. In particular, the deputy fire marshals. I have had the pleasure of working with 3 new people because my one person got stolen and got promoted. But in particular, Norris and Garcia are facing having to be put back into operations. And I would like to see us leave them in the spots that they're in, let them finish the year that they were told that they would have. And that department needs the bodies because they already struggle to provide the services, at least with Briar, seamlessly, which I'm going to guess that's happening elsewhere. And I feel very strongly those people, I will say in particular, DFM Norris has created a fabulous, I don't even know what you guys are officially calling it. For us, it's a dashboard to use and help make the communication and the reviewing of plans and scheduling of inspections and everything much better. And I think it would be a shame to yank those people back out of these positions that you've spent the time, money, putting them in. And I think that we should be instead filling the operational positions that they vacated and keeping them where they're at because they are needed in that division. And so that's my plea that you guys will give the chiefs the okay to fill some of those other positions and keep these gentlemen where they're at because we do need them. And I'm guessing that the other cities need them as much as Briar does.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Board Liaison Swisher.
Commissioner Kenny,
Yeah.
if I could,
Yes, go ahead.
on behalf of the Division of Fire Prevention, Liaison Swisher, I want to thank you for your comments. Those are 2 top-notch deputy fire marshals that you're referring to. The work that those individuals are doing is important to the division. And again, on behalf of prevention, thank you for speaking your mind.
Commissioner Chan, go ahead. You're muted, Commissioner Chan.
I know friends ask me, I am pretty safe. My hotel's right next to the big convention center. And my next door is a 5-bay, big, huge fire station. And they actually, on the big fire, they have 2,000 firefighter fighting that fire. Is amazing. And then they also got a lot of nearby cities, nearby country from firefighter come and help and do all this volunteer. So, and you really can feel the brotherhood of being a firefighter, and it's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chan. Other commissioner comments? I'll just note that the Snow Isle Fire Commissioners have the regular December meeting, which also has a holiday meeting component to it this coming Thursday, 7 p.m. Zoom only on Zoom. I sent out the link to everybody. So there are a few door prizes if you attend. So consider attending to possibly win a door prize. So anyways, there is also one open board seat if anybody's interested in serving in a trustee position on the executive board. So
How do you get a door prize if it's on Zoom?
well, it's a digital door prize that then arrives in your mailbox physically,
Okay.
and then you're happy. So it's we've adjusted to the Zoom environment, and it's actually worked out pretty well. So surprisingly, yeah. Anyways, that's coming up later this week. Trying to think what else. I think that's everything for commissioner comments, unless any other commissioner comments. Chief.
I know Chair Kenny knows this. I don't know if the rest of the board knows. I'm actually going down to Vancouver on Friday, speaking with the city of Vancouver, Clark 6, Clark 3, Kolowitz, both their administrations and their labor groups on regionalization. And so I just want to let the board know I'm going down there and as your fire chief and having a conversation with our fire agencies to the south and share our experience with the creation of the RFA and some of our history with them for most of the day on Saturdays. So just let you guys know that's where I'll be. I will not be able to make the tree lighting ceremonies either Friday or Saturday or the parade as a result of being down there. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a privilege for me to go and tell our story. And I think it will help other agencies as they explore the opportunity of regionalization in the current economic status and how to provide better service to the citizens that we all serve. So I'm just letting the board know I'll be doing that this weekend.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Unless there's any other commissioner comments. Next up, we have executive session. We have 3 items of executive session: collective bargaining pursuant to RCW 4230-144A, and 2 segments of review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1G. Chief, for the collective bargaining piece,
it's a
30?
very, very brief update
Very brief
with
update.
more to follow later. I just want to give you an update of the status of where we are for the most part, and there'll be a more thorough conversation at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, so then I'm thinking, I'm always an optimist, but I'll say 30 minutes. We'll start at 30 minutes from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We'll start with 30 minutes. And before that, we'll be in a brief recess or an evening recess as we'll go back to executive session at 8:30. And at the conclusion of that, we do not plan on taking any action, right, Chief?
No action on behalf of negotiations,
No
no.
action. Okay. So without objection, we will be in a brief recess back to executive session. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's that?
The South County Fire regular meeting has been called back to order at 9:40 p.m. And without objection, the meeting has been adjourned.